Apple today unveiled the iPad Pro, and this is the largest tablet the company's ever released, and one of the more interesting products too that we've seen in recent years. So this is a 12.9 inch 2732 by 2048 pixel IPS display with a density of 264 pixels per inch, and that means that it's the same density as the iPad Air 2 and the iPad Mini 3, well, 4 now that it was unveiled today. But what's interesting about this is that it is much more optimized for these large display apps and those extra pixels that come with them. Obviously in portrait mode you can see that everything is still very spread out, and iOS doesn't really take advantage of the new real estate until the apps themselves are optimized for the larger screen. But it really takes the user and the developer to use two apps side by side to show what the iPad Pro is capable of. You can see here the web page up on the screen looks great, and it scales quite nicely. But when you open two existing iPad apps in split view mode, which is coming in iOS 9 to the iPad Air 2 and will ship with the iPad Pro, you can see that full-sized apps can run side by side on the iPad Pro, and that allows developers and users to do some really interesting things. There's a 75-25% split and a 50-50 split, which can then be easily removed to show a single app. And you can also do slide over, which is another multitasking feature found in iOS 9. Apple's also showing off the gaming capabilities of the iPad Pro. This is running a new A9X chip. It's about twice as fast both in the CPU and GPU as the A8X in the iPad Air 2. This is a very fast chip, desktop class as the company calls it. It's processing a lot of pixels though, so we'll see if apps can take advantage of them. There's also a really interesting new connector here that allows Apple to bundle or at least connect different types of accessories. The first of which is the smart keyboard, which we'll see shipping with the iPad in November for $170. You can see here that it doubles as a cover, similar to the Surface and Surface Pro. It also allows users to make quick shortcuts. For example, you can Alt-Tab to switch between apps. And then there's the $99 pencil, and this is a touch and pressure sensitive stylus that can be used to draft or draw or sketch or take notes in a number of apps. Apple's going to release an API for this so developers can optimize their existing apps for it. But the iPad Pro is a really interesting product, and it's expensive too. It's about $800 US for the 32 gig version, $950 for the 128 gig model. That's US dollars. We don't know Canadian pricing just yet. We'll find that out closer to the release.